A microclimate refers to a small location whose climate is controlled by a specific set of factors. Climate implies a long-term pattern that is repeatable from year to year, whereas weather refers to daily changes in temperature and humidity that result in weather conditions that we experience at any given moment. A microclimate would be a location with a pattern of temperature and/or humidity that could be expected in a small area, depending on the environmental conditions. Will some locations have a different temperature and humidity than the surrounding area? This is Weather and Climate Microclimates. The contour of the land, the presence or absence of plants, moisture, and time of day may result in small climates or microclimates within one ecosystem. Comparing the land cover and temperature in different microclimates can help us to be more aware of why organisms live where they do. Temperature has an impact on the kinds of plants and animals that can live in a particular place, and varying types of land cover can affect temperature. In this investigation, you will locate and collect data from multiple microclimates found around your school or home. So for microclimates, the only things that you're really going to need for this investigation are your weather sensor and then, of course, SparkView. For the sample data that I collected and I'll be sharing with you today, I used my cell phone because I wanted to take images of the places that I went. You could also use an iPad or your computer to do this. So just something to be aware of, and I'll show you how to set that up when we get into data collection. There's going to be two parts to this activity. The first one, you're going to collect data of microclimates within your school. So you're going to be either inside your classroom or you're going to be having access to different areas within your school. Again, these are things that are going to be under the roof. You're going to find 4 different locations that vary, and you're going to collect the temperature and the relative humidity data for that specific location. So after you get a chance to experience collecting data in the school, that's when you're going to go outside and work with the real microclimates. So you're going to find 4 different locations around your school to collect data, so you can get microclimate data on those pieces. So for the first set, in school; for the second set, out of school. For data collection of microclimates, remember you're going to have 2 sets of data that you're going to collect. One is finding 4 different locations within your school to collect temperature and relative humidity data. Then you're going to take the investigation outside and find 4 areas to collect data there. I'm going to show you how you can set up your screen if you would like to use the camera to collect images, because I really think that really makes a great connection with the data that you're collecting. Okay, so I've connected my weather sensor and I'm going to click on Build a New Experiment. I made sure when I connected my sensor to also make sure I enabled the camera on my device. You need to do that so it shows up. So we only need relative humidity and temperature data, so I'm going to pick the 3-page template here. And for this large screen, I want to choose to enable the camera on my computer. So hi, you see me here. This is something great that you could actually go outside and get an image of your sensor with the surrounding environment. So you can compare that with your actual data collection in real time. When you find an image you like, you just click on the little check mark there, and that'll let me know that I've got my image. Over here, I'm going to click the digits display and select temperature, and then digits display and select relative humidity. So these will be the screens that you want to use for your 4 pieces of data collection in the school, and then your 4 pieces of data collection outside of the school. Okay, for the data analysis, I want to take you in and let you view some of the sample data files that you're going to have access to, because I want to make sure you know how to navigate them. All right, so remember the first time you did this, you had to collect 4 areas of temperature and relative humidity data inside your classroom or under the roof of your school, if you had a chance to walk around. So these are the images that I chose for you here at PASCO, which is my school, my area. So for image 1, you see I took a picture of the weather sensor. This was at my workstation. And I actually had my fan on at the time, so I just wanted to see what would happen. So here's my real-time temperature data and my relative humidity data. If you need to change this to Fahrenheit, because a lot of times we have to show our data in both Celsius and Fahrenheit, you just click on that Celsius, and that's when you can shift it over to Fahrenheit. So you can get both of those numbers that you may need for your data table. Remember, all this information is going to go into table 1. All right, so you want to go to the next image, image 2. So here I am in our storage area. This is a really neat area. It's not really air conditioned like the rest of the building, so it's interesting in the winter. It tends to be really cool, and it still stays pretty cool during the summer, but you definitely notice it warm up. But I'm on image 2, but I'm still showing data from my first run, my first image. You're just going to want to click on the run and move it to run 2. This is really important. Make sure all of those numbers are adding up. Image 2 goes with run 2, run 2. So then you would put this in your data table. I actually gave you 5 different areas that you can choose from. You want to choose at least 4 out of the 5. So have some fun picking other areas up. So the other ones that I got, you saw image 1. Image 3 I took in our assembly area. This is an area that has to be kept very, very clean. It's a room that tends to be cooler than any of the other rooms in the building. It's important for those pieces to be safe. Then, of course, I took a picture in our lounge area where the ice machine lives. And then the final one I took, that is the lunchroom. So I took data collection sitting at the front window there in the lunchroom. And again, we're looking at this. This was image number 5. So I need to make sure I go to run 5, run 5. So all the data correlates with that image. All right, so that's the first set, and you're going to have access to these. The next thing you had to do was to collect data outside. So you're actually going to the real microclimates that are outside. So let's open up that data. Run 1, image 1. So I picked a bunch of different locations for you to choose from. You'll need to pick at least 4. The first one here is our patio area. This particular day was a very light breeze. The sky was very clear. So this is an area that's got a cement floor, and it actually has a little cover top, and there was nice shade being provided by the trees that were out there. So that's my first set. Then I did the parking lot, and again, image 2. Make sure you go to run 2 so you can see the data out there. It's got like the black asphalt on the bottom there. You can see, very clear day. Image 3. I went under this area near a creek, but it's up higher, in a beautiful big oak tree. So there was a lot of shade in that area, and it was leaves and dirt was the bottom on that. So I had a different floor than in the previous image. Things to think about. 4, this is a creek that during the wintertime actually runs, but we're in a very big dry spell here in California. So you can see the creek's not running, but interesting things to note as you start digging into the data, which you'll do on your own, you'll start seeing correlations with different areas being near water or being in a shaded area. And again, this was a normal ground cover, so dirt and leaves. And all this information will be listed for you in the sample data table as well. I'll include both of those. Image 5, this really great nature path that we have here behind PASCO. So you can see that I'm walking on the asphalt again here. I need to make sure to change my data to that run. And then the last one, I was in a different location. So I went from walking on the asphalt on that trail to now walking in the shade under a tree back on just regular ground. very dry grass, as you can see. So you have 6 different microclimates to choose from. You need to record data for 4 in Table 2. We provide you with the data files, but you'll also have access to data tables for your analysis.